we have a quorum. I've got a hard stop in an hour, so hopefully we can get this conducted pretty quickly today. Let's bring the meeting to order. Today is it's June 21st, 2023. This is the regularly scheduled Cohasset Affordable Housing Trust meeting for the month of June. We'll start by calling the meeting to order with a roll call vote and start with David Pfeiffer.
David Pfeiffer here.
Rob Henry.
Rob Henry here.
Cindy Matheson.
Cindy Matheson, present.
And Steve Gomer here. All right, we have a quorum of 4. I thought we'd have Ted with us today. We are down a member by way of resignation. Tom Mead, as you may know, has resigned. And we are also down a select persons member. Cassandra, do you know if the select board has made any appointments?
I do not. I haven't heard anything at this time.
All right. Is there any public comment to be made, Cassandra? Anybody in the waiting room?
No one is in the waiting room.
Okay. One item that I am going to bring forward, because Cassandra had reminded everybody of this. Did you all reapply for?
I have not yet. No.
Yeah, Rob, if you're planning on continuing on, would you do that?
I thought, didn't I have to the end of June?
You do. I'm asking you to expedite to the extent.
Okay, well, that's fine. If you ask me, that's fine. I just thought about it. I didn't think I was overdue.
Yeah, no, you do. Yeah, it's our appointments expire on June 30th, and God only knows why we all expire at the same time, but that's the way it is. All right. We've got just a few things on the calendar at the moment, and Cassandra, I'm working from the draft agenda. Has it been updated?
Yes, it has been updated. Next on the agenda would be the update from the finance director.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so I've got that switched. I've got an 850 from an 850 for an update on the bid process, and update from the finance director following.
Whereas you had mentioned that you might want to go into an executive session, I figured for the ease of flow of things, that would be better to put that later.
Thank you very much. Okay, so then let's go straight away to finance director, and I take that's Jennifer.
Yes, hi, I'm Jennifer Mullen. I'm the finance director. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I met with Cassandra. I've been asked to give a financial update. So I can tell you how much cash that you have, how much money you have. But with affordable housing trusts, what needs to be tracked really are your votes for projects, because I wouldn't know that. So I'm not quite sure where you're at with your project. So I think Cassandra and I are going to meet and come up with a tracking mechanism. So when you vote a project, we can we'll keep track of it on a spreadsheet, and then we can really tell you how much money you have.
Right. I very much like understanding the cash flow from, say, a checkbook.
Right, exactly. I don't know what's outstanding. I can just tell you the cash that you have right now. I don't know what projects you voted or anything like that.
Fair enough. And Cassandra can help assemble that. We'll assist wherever we need to, but suffice it to say that, and I believe I have the summary correct, that our contingent or current expenditures and contingent liabilities total about 108,000 expended currently. We anticipate expending another as much as 70,000 for Elm Street and 75,000 for 808 Jerusalem. And additionally, David, Rob, Cindy, do you remember how much we've given to the South Main Street? We've voted 15,000 for the South Main Street project, but how much have we funded to this point? Do you know?
I thought it was maybe 10.
Okay, so we would have another 5 remaining.
I'm with Rob on that. That's what I think we've given them. We've
Okay.
funded 10.
Yeah, we can go back and check minutes. In any case, Jennifer, versus what has been either transferred or granted for transfer, the expenditures currently and the contingent expenditures are relatively modest. And I think that's what Cassandra can pull you up. Other than that, we paid an extraordinary amount to our legal fees. So come on, Karis, smile. No, that's about the only ongoing expense we have is our legal advice. So,
Right, so I can go through that with Cassandra, what has been voted, what has been spent against the project that has been voted, and that will give you a true picture. I mean, right now I can tell you the actual cash that you have in the bank right now is it's $1,291,528.
that is about what we anticipated, but you say that there's cash in the bank, and I do know we have sent out that sounds about right for the granted funds. In other words, the deposits. I'm not sure that includes the expenditure for Elm Street.
Right, that's why we need to go over the votes.
Yeah.
We need to see what's been expended to date, because you can vote, I'll just give you an example. So say you vote a project for $200,000, right? We can, log that on a spreadsheet that's been voted, it's been encumbered, but then you have to track those expenses against what you voted, because that hits your cash, right? Because when we actually pay the bill, it will be taken off that 1.2. So we need to know where we are in projects. So it's a little bit more involved than just telling you, all right, well, this is what I have. I need to get the full picture before we can really talk about available funds. And then that would, be a good segue into where you are in projects, how much you've expended towards this project, where, you might have encumbered money for another project. Has it been, has the closing documents, whatever the project may be, been voted yet? When are we closing? When are they going to need the money? There's a lot going on, as you know, with affordable housing.
Right. And so I've got a couple of follow-on questions. One of them, or maybe even both of them, might be for the treasurer, but I figure since you're sitting here, hopefully you can tell us. As you can see, that we generally will build funds and our expenditures will come in lumps. So what options do we have for putting those funds to work?
What, investment?
Well, maybe, you could look at it from that perspective, but I'm thinking just as simple as interest-bearing accounts.
Yeah, so for investment, so the Affordable Housing Trust, as you know, years ago, there's state legislation that you adopted and you created an Affordable Housing Trust. And so
Right.
we're governed by that legislation, and because it's a trust, we're governed by the state on how we can invest that money. So
Right.
with the trust funds, we can invest it in for the longer term, so we can gain a better market value if the market's doing well. And that's how these these funds are invested. So they are invested that way. They're with our investment advisor. It's in a trust fund. We post the market value every month. But again, until we get a full picture of the projects and come up with a mechanism to show, okay, this is what you gained in market value this month. And the other thing I'm toying with is I don't usually gross up the market value until the end of the fiscal year, because the market can, as you know, can go up
Right.
and down. So I don't want to come to you and say, oh, you just lost this amount of money and then the next month. So we usually gross it up at the end of the year, but your money is going to work for you. It's not just in a regular savings bank. It is being invested for the longer term because it is a trust under under Mass General Law of the Affordable Housing Trust.
Okay, so go back to the same question then. We'd like to make certain that we understand the investments the investment strategy that's being used for the trust. And so for possibly next meeting, could we pull in the advisor? Is that, by the way, is that? Roger
Yeah,
Preston?
I won't be ready. We'll be doing a year-end review because we have all our trust funds with this it's called Bartholomew. They invest it for the long term. And just so you know, government is very restricted on how we can invest our money. We have a legal list. There's only certain amounts of avenues that we can put it in.
We don't
So-
have the legal list anymore. We
Well-
we did a home rule petition.
Right, so in 2019, Cohasset received approval to invest under the prudent investor rule.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right,
Okay.
so that- Chapter 12 of, it was approved as chapter 12 of the Acts of 2020, Jennifer.
Okay, let me just write this down. Okay,
Yep.
give me 1 second. It's,
Yep.
so you have a home rule petition. Okay, and it's the acts of what?
Chapter 12 of the Acts of 2020.
Okay.
I remember it distinctly.
All right, so we'll pull that. I didn't know that. So we'll
Yeah,
pull
that's
it, we'll take a look at that and we'll make sure that our investment advisors get a hold of that. And we'll discuss that. Maybe, maybe I'm just behind the 8 ball on this
No,
one.
it
I
just,
just started in October.
right. It's again, this is an important piece because we want to make certain that the funds themselves are, as I said, they're slated for growth, but at the same time, to the extent that we might be able to carve out a piece of the trust funds for more immediate liquidity. In other words, harbor them in an interest-bearing but FDIC insured account.
Yeah, like a money market. I mean, we're
Like a
familiar
money
with,
market.
we're familiar. I didn't know that you had voted to not go with the legal list. But again, we're still like, I can't, we're very conservative, right? And the treasurer has the decision of where to invest the money with our financial advisor. We'll be more than happy to bring them in if
Thank
you
you.
want to see where it is. But what I will do is let me go through this home rule petition. Let me talk to the treasurer. And when we get a year-end review from our investments, because, they're investing our stabilization funds and all that and our trust
Right.
fund. We'll have a discussion with them and then we'll bring them in. We'll not be ready in July. I have year end. So it's going to be a few
Okay.
months before they come in and they start and they talk to you. So I want to make sure we have all that set. Just want to make sure the expectations are there.
Okay,
Sandra,
thank you.
can you send the copy of the memo that I did for Steve and the trust on the prudent investor rule to Jennifer?
Yeah, did you say that it was circa 2019?
No, I sent a memo on this issue to Steve and the trust on March 6, 2023.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
if you would share that with Jennifer, I think that might be helpful. Because I looked at how I thought the trust could expend its money under the home rule petition. So that might be helpful to give her some context.
Perfect. I will do that.
Yeah, we'll
Okay,
take a
thank
look
you.
at it.
Okay,
Okay,
Jennifer, thank you very much.
you're welcome.
And Cassandra, likewise, in working with Jennifer, if you, you need our direct assistance, just let us know. We'll schedule the time to get together with you both. But I appreciate it. Thank you. for
Okay,
your-
great. All right, thank you. Nice meeting you all. Okay,
Take care.
bye-bye.
All right. Next item on the list is a project pipeline. And I think Rob's got some information for us on the Elm Street renovation update. Rob,
Yes.
take it away.
So I've been doing some work on 43 Elm. As you know, the first step was to do some clean out because the place is just an absolute mess. So we've got some people, actually Tom Mead had gotten some people who I believe are going to be doing it this week. We had the budget of $10,000 and it's going to take some time. It looks like we might come in around $6,000 or $7,000 on this. Get that done. And then the next step is to do the necessary renovation. And I use the word renovation, it's not so much a structural thing, but it's to after getting cleaned up, everything needs to be painted, repaired, so a couple new appliances, things like that. So it's a budget that we have initially, after talking to some people, we thought this might cost around $40,000 to $50,000. So what we're trying to do is to get somebody, call him a clerk of the works. And on Monday, I interviewed a guy named Brian Costello, who lives here in town. Does anybody know Brian Costello?
I do not, but I've heard of his work.
Yeah, well, he spent 36 years in Watertown, and that's where he did most of his work, but he's done this type of work and then, you know, he's very familiar with public housing and all. And he's basically retired. He's doing some things. But he seems to be amenable to working with us on this thing. He has some questions which we lost our attorney.
No, she's there.
Oh,
Chris is with us.
I don't have her. But there's some questions he had that maybe I could talk to her about it at some point in time. But he just wants to be careful. So the question really is, and it's beyond what I know, there's a chapter 149, which is a construction public bid list, a law. And I think we were led, you know, Steve, we've gone back and forth on this thing, and Tom and I have talked about it a bunch of times, that I'm not sure this is considered, you know, we have to go through a real RFP. I mean, certainly we have to have a plan. We need to get 3 bids, but I don't think we have to go through all the thing you would do if it was a larger project.
I don't think it's a public construction project, but I do think 30B for the procurement of services applies here. So if it's, you know, if it's more than $50,000, you have to do a competitive bid process.
Right.
And if it's, you know,
Yeah,
between
if I can,
15
Karen.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, let me butt in here. The original review of the work that needed to be done is, you know, sub $50,000 for the baseline work. If we opted to take on additional work, we could do so at a later date. And that would be as much as an additional 15 or 20.
Yeah,
So-
so we've already been in there, both Tom and I were in the unit. And we had a guy that's very knowledgeable about things, and then he thought maximum 50,000 was what we want to do to make it a livable unit. So the thing is that if this guy Brian Costello, we were doing this in Watertown. He's got like 2 or 3 type of contractors that would do this work and quote on it. Our thing right now is to find some contractors. Obviously, a lot of the contractors in this area, I mean, I've got a couple of people I'm going to talk to. And if they can't do it, then they might have a recommendation, but this is obviously not a very big job. And in my business, I find that these remodeler construction people, even if they're relatively small, they're always going for the bigger job, and they'll just kind of give lip service to anything else. And we want to get this thing done, which we do. We've got to have something that's going to be dependable and live up to a schedule. So, yeah, that's where we are on that. So as I say, we're moving along, but we need to get that next stage to get the contractors. So we're not treating it as a public job, right, Karis?
Correct. It's not 149, it's 30B. So
It's
between
30B?
10 and 50.
I
you
can
need
tell
3
Brian,
quotes.
it's 30B, and what's the title of that 30B?
It's chapter 30B, which is procurement for goods and services.
Okay,
So between $10,000 and $50,000, you need to get 3 written quotes.
Okay.
three quotes, okay.
You know, it occurs to me that the hardest task in this might be getting 3 quotes.
Yeah.
Stella, I see your hand up.
You want to bid on it, Steve?
So sorry. So Karis, they just have to solicit 3 quotes. They don't have to receive 3 quotes.
Correct. They have to solicit 3 quotes.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
right, Michelle.
Oh, all right, thanks,
you,
Michelle.
Michelle.
for
That makes
saying
life
that,
a little
because that's a big difference, getting 3 people to respond, even if we only get 1 actual quote, okay.
Rob, can I stop you here for just a second? I see
Yeah.
Rob Jeffers has joined the meeting. Hey, Rob, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Have you made the application, and by chance, have you been appointed and we were notified?
I made the application. I have not been appointed, so I am just a member of the public watching the meeting. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your interest and hope your application is acted upon soon.
So I've been checking on the for the select board, but they haven't done any postings yet. But I have confirmed they received the
So,
application.
are we talking about appointment to the trust or the select board?
To the trust.
Trust.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
anybody with the name Rob is okay with me. So,
I think we're in, then I'm good.
Let's hope so.
Let the meeting minutes reflect that that we do have an attendee from the public, Rob Jeffers. Okay. Rob, Henry,
Yes.
Did you also get additional information on the insurance inspection?
Yeah, as I said, you know, sometimes the cynicism in somebody, the correlation of the gal that want to do the insurance inspection just was so unusual when we were about ready to clean it up and I didn't, you know, whatever. But anyway, without going into more detail, I talked to Maureen Friedman yesterday and I have no problem with this inspection whatsoever. It's a normal thing that the insurance company wants to do, and Cassandra is nicely going to let her in today at 12 o'clock to do the inspection, and so, you know, we're all good with that.
Okay, good. Good. That wraps up this particular item. I do have a question here under project pipeline, but it's not listed. Cassandra, do you know what the progress is on the Pleasant Street redevelopment?
Last I had heard, it was just still under active construction. I haven't gotten any other updates from the building department.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, kids. The next meeting is scheduled for July 12. I can tell you for sure I will be in Ireland, so I will not be attending. And I wish I could apologize for that, but I will not. Are there any topics that any of you wish to bring up that haven't been posted here? All right, then we'll move to executive session. We'll enter into executive session under Mass General Laws 30A, subsection 21, for permissible reason number 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property if the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body. I do so declare. May I have a roll call vote better yet, let me start with this. The chair makes a motion that we enter into executive session as previously noted. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Then is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote, starting with David Pfeiffer.
David Pfeiffer, yes.
Rob Henry,
Robert Henry, aye.
Cindy Matheson,
Cindy Matheson, aye.
Steve Gomer, aye. We are now in executive session.
Hi, guys.
Okay. The
Are we recording executive session?
out of executive session. All right, we have no further business to conduct today. So as a result, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, motion is made and seconded. Again, roll call vote for this. David Pfeiffer,
David Pfeiffer, yes.
Rob Henry,
Robert Henry, aye.
Cindy Matheson,
Cindy Matheson, aye.
Steve Gomer, aye. Michelle, Karis, Cassandra, thank you all for your time, and of course, trust members as well. Thank you very much for your time. And I will not see you in July at the July meeting. I'll make sure that we are ready to go no matter what. Okay,
Awesome.
Have fun in
Thank you.
Thank
Ireland.
you.
Thank you,
Have a
Steve.
great day.
take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.